It's alright, no bag.
Alright.
Morning everybody. Welcome back to the hills of the UAE and the second turn cycling coast to coast recon ride. So this week, rather than just show you lots of footage of people riding around, I'm going to actually talk through where we are in terms of the coast to coast route and show you a few of the climbs and features. So if you're doing coast to coast for the first time this year, you probably might find this quite useful. So we're about 10k from Munay, which is where we parked today. Munay is actually over the first set of difficulties. There's 2 climbs straight out of Schalke, and we're going to do those in a couple of weeks, so plenty of time to see footage of that. But we're now on the climb to Tunnel 1, which is probably the hardest climb on the route. There's a few rolling bits, so we've just come over the first steep ramp and now we're on one of the flatter sections. But the climb up to Tunnel 1, it's a bit deceiving. So it starts not too bad, so everybody goes full gas, and it's just gradually ramps up through the whole climb until the last kind of 400 meters is at about 10%, which catches people out. So yeah, we'll bring you, I'll do a little bit more from the top of there, a bit halfway up, so you can get a feeling for what it's like, and then once we're over the top I'll shoot a little bit of the descent, which might be interesting today. We've had a lot of rain in the last couple of days, which has brought quite a lot of debris down onto the road, so it could be a bit sketchy, which is fine. Just take it easy. Right, we're now on near the top of the main climb up to Tunnel 1. It's a nasty little thing. As I said earlier, it just keeps ramping and ramping and ramping, and this last stretch here, it's pretty much 10%, and it hurts if you've gone a little bit too fast at the bottom. But what we have here is we got the cattle grid. Now normally this is not a problem, you just ride straight over it, but when it's raining, which you did a couple of years ago, you have to be super careful on this because it's just really slippy. And one of the people I was riding with 2 years ago just caught it at an angle, tried to put too much power down, back wheels span out and they hit the deck. They were fine, but it's not pleasant falling on that. So yeah, if it's wet, be careful. God, Tony. The thing is, it never gets easier, you just go a little bit faster. Right, better get to the top. Here we are now at the bottom of the descent from Tunnel 1, at the kind of trough between Tunnel 1 and the climb to Tunnel 2. It's a very fast descent. You'll hit speeds, 60, 70, maybe faster kilometers an hour, and it can be. It's a nice smooth road, but they've got lots of rumble strips to slow people down. We've just come past somebody in a group who had a flat tire near the top, which can be a pretty sketchy experience. But on coast to coast, you'll already have done 140, 150 kilometers, so it's important to take it steady down there. Don't race, because you've still got a long way to go, and the last thing you need is an accident here, especially when you're tired after all that riding so far. Right, we're now going to head on up to Tunnel 2 and down to Kalba. The climb to Tunnel 2 is a lot easier than the climb to Tunnel 1, and when you make it to the tunnel, that kind of marks the last of the major climbs on the way to Al Akka. 2 years ago, this is where the rain really hit, and there were floods on the road, boulders crashing down off the mountain. hopefully it's not going to be like that this year. It was really spectacular. So this is the run into Calba. Normally what you do when you get here is you're desperately scanning the horizon, looking at the flagpole, trying to get a sense of which way the wind's blowing. If you've got a cross tailwind or a tailwind going up the coast, happy days. You're nearly at that finish point. If the flag is pointing to the right, then you've got some pain coming up for sure. However, the question is, will we come this way? Because there's a lot of roadworks from the bottom of Tunnel 1, or the bottom of the descent after Tunnel 1. A lot of roadworks, roads closed. It's fine in a small group to kind of come through. You just got to take it carefully on some parts. I don't think you wouldn't want to bring a pod of 40 people through. So I'll be interested to see if the roadworks are finished by then. If not, I would imagine there'll be a route change where we actually turn left at the bottom of the descent from Tunnel 1 and in the back road to Calba. So we'll see. That looks like they've got a lot of work to do there. That looks like another year's worth of roadworks, not 4 weeks, but we shall see. Woo, glass. So by the time you make it to Calba, that's the end of the hills, but it's not the end of the hard bit. I think everybody tends to focus on the hills as being the main difficulty, but actually it's that last 70k up the coast from Calba to Alaka. You know, by the time you get here, you've already done 140k. So those that last 2-3 whatever hours up to Alaka can really hurt. The best thing to do is get to the feed stop in Calba and head off in a group, because if you're in a group looking after each other, you'll get all that, you'll get the protection from the wind, and it makes it a lot easier. So the turn cycling crew we will all wait and reconvene at Calba before heading off towards Alaka and the finishing line. But for today, we've turned right and we're heading back to the car in Munay via the Omani border, which is going to be beautiful. We should have a nice little gentle tailwind. We've got a couple more ramps to go up, but our hard riding is done for the day.